head off now because I got work in the morning.
Oh.
Take a shower and stuff.
Hey, Lxpu.
So,
Are you interested
Good
in...
night,
Oh,
big guy.
never mind, you're a guy.
Bye.
I was gonna go ahead and ask you,
Alright,
since
I'll see
you
you.
were in a female avatar, if you want to go upstairs to pleasure somebody, but
Bye bye.
to
probably not
wait, to
interested.
pleasure somebody?
Yeah.
Hey, what the fuck?
Let's have this conversation, shall we? If you've played VRChat before, you might have encountered some, let's say, unusual behavior.
Do you want to give my hug?
But, for those who are unaware, VRChat is a social game where the primary aspect of the game is to, as the name suggests, talk with random stranger on the internet. You can do so by either playing on desktop or using your virtual reality headset while having the freedom to move your character in game with your own movement. The behaviors I mentioned earlier range from sexually suggestive conversations to physically sexualized movements, often taking places in shared space with minors. FBT Evan.
You have to have an item in one of your hands in order to do whatever you need to do to get in, okay? We're not allowed to say any more than that.
Guys, you click accept and then go around to the back and click enter, guys.
Keegan, you will be kicked.
I'm about to get my ass kicked. You're welcome. See ya, bitches. On period.
Let me ask you this question. Have you ever wondered why people act this way? It's very strange behavior if you ask me, and I don't know how to go about it. Just to be clear, I'm specifically referring about the user base that engages in doing sexually suggestive actions. As a parent in the intro clip, I had just joined this world seconds before recording, and that was my first interaction hopping on the game. It's not as prevalent as it may appear, but it does happen. VRChat is a game that is available to anyone above the age of 13 years old, which in theory would be fine, except that the game has garnished a reputation where it is extremely centered around adult teams, and the fact that young people and adults alike can be in the same place opens the door for some inappropriate and sometimes exploitative behaviors. Most of the teens playing this game are exposed to these types of behavior on a daily basis, and VRChat has done nothing so far to improve the situation. It has been talked many times already. Videos have been made covering this specific topic, yet nothing has been done so far to mitigate the issue, or at least help in any way, shape, or form, which ultimately led me to make this video in question. VRChat does little to address the overall moderation and or updates focus on the game's accessibility and safety of the users. Most of their updates recently have been about adding some quality of life things, which I'm definitely not complaining, but they could do so much more. But we'll get into that later down the road. While quality of life updates are welcome, addressing safety concerns should be a priority to protect the younger community from inappropriate interactions. Darafog made a great couple of videos talking about this subject, in which he covers the bad aspects of the game, and I can't thank him enough for his godsend work. I want to give him credit for bringing light to this issue, since he's able to cover this topic far greater than I'll ever be able to. The fact that my native language is French is a huge barrier for me to produce this type of content. Surprisingly, the only bit of information that we've received from the developers were this developer update on July 11, 2024, in which they mentioned that they're working on implementing an age verification by the end of the year. I've also mentioned this update in my VRChat video about the questionable rules of ERP in public spaces. By the way, this was almost 4 months ago, and we still haven't received any updates on the progress. The community themselves have tried to bring up the topic by making posts on the internet about this exact issue. Parents have advocated for parental control editions, users have tried to make points about an improved reporting system, community moderated groups, and user-driven content gating and warnings. Most of these topics have been looked over from the developers, besides the parental control aspect. While these community-led efforts are admirable, they're not enough. An official age verification system could provide the oversight needed to protect all users. VRChat should have had an age verification system in place a long time ago, because currently the only way that we can get around this issue is by doing group instances. And as showcased in my previous videos, I'm really not a fan of it. So, I don't hate VRChat. I still love VRChat. I play it from time to time, but of course it's not as much as before. Group publics are the bane of this game. Players have a tendency to crave power, thinking that they are the boss of the world by simply being a moderator of a group, and given that they have control over the lobby, they can just kick anyone with full priority for no specific reason needed. Instances like these usually have dedicated players, so-called moderators of the group, age-checking people at the entrance of the world. We all know this does absolutely nothing. This is basically the equivalent of that one meme video of the security guard attempting to check people at an event, which ultimately does nothing at all besides wasting time. Just to show you how much this doesn't work, I've gone around in instances where people have no clue who I am, and I try to get age check while just straight up lying. Like, not even saying my actual age, even remotely close. It's especially prominent in those bar worlds, where they're doing it almost as a real life job. You may have seen those troll videos of users doing it in public instances, and ultimately, they just get trolled until they start becoming really angry. The bottom of it is that it simply doesn't work, as you can see in this clip.
Hello, welcome. Whenever you're ready, I can get your age and date of birth. I'm right here. Thank you. Here's an invitation to the Faded Feline. If you join, you get a fast pass with no security check.
In another instance, I've straight up told them I was 46 and born in 1986. The worst part of it is that nothing lines up at all, because by saying I was 46 years old, born in 1986, well, if you do the math, you can clearly see that 2024 minus 1986 does not equal 46 but 38. Now, what would be the positives of adding an age verification? Well, a lot actually. First of all, it would separate adults from the children's or teenagers, which is by far the biggest concern of the community. It's impossible to hop on the game without being interrupted by younger users, who often join through a mobile or Quest platform. Secondly, it would also help with the PDF file stuff, as they would be easily identifiable. Adults would be hanging out in 18+ worlds, making them stand out from the others. Another aspect that would benefit from it is event hosting. Since events are obviously meant for adults, without age verification, they cannot verify the age of the event goer that are trying to get in. Those places are usually met with the usage of alcohol or drugs, so it's very important that these things are excluded from the younger community. Third, it would also help for instances where people do questionable stuff. Since the game has garnished a culture where people may act inappropriately, but this measure would prevent exposure to the younger crowd. This kind of separation isn't about isolating user, it's about creating a safe space where everyone, especially young players, can engage without the risk of being exposed to adult content. With a safe structure, adults would feel free to engage more openly without worrying about minors being present, creating a better experience for all. I don't blame the users on this, since VRChat never made it clear as to what's right to do and what's wrong. They've revised their policies quite often, and sexually suggestive content is allowed from the community guidelines. Now, if you go to the community guidelines page today, you will notice that the whole section has been revamped, and the rules have obviously been updated since August 2023. The only requirement is that it must be hidden away, which ultimately means nothing. There are many clips that have surfaced around recently where adults will interact with minors and do explicit stuff or just say bad things, which is truly disgusting. Just recently, there has been a couple of instances where I've been in the Just Be Club lobby and I overhear that there's somebody in their 30s hanging out with, and dare I say, cuddling with somebody that was way under 18 years old, and they were caught during the moment with no shame.
It is in the bio. It says
I don't
15.
know. I'm sorry, I don't check people's bio.
Now, the main drawback of implementing age verification, which is the most important one that I've also covered in the past, is the risk of your data being leaked or exposed in a data breach. For this specific scenario, if the developers work with a well-trusted company, as they mentioned in their developer update, this should not be an issue. Roblox has been doing it for many months, if not years at this point, and they never had any issues. I've never personally received any notifications saying that my data was leaked or exposed, so if they have a good provider for the service, then everything should be perfectly fine. I do not have a hard time believing that they'll take the extra steps to do exactly that, because they got investors on the line, and the last thing they want to happen is that they lose trust from them and stop receiving any funding, hence why they've added EAC in July of 2022. Keeping the game up and running is obviously very, very expensive. VRC Plus is a great thing overall for the game, except it's lacking features that would incite people to buy it. While monetization through VRC Plus is important, VRChat could enhance its value by aligning VRC Plus features with community needs, like safety improvements, rather than aesthetic perks alone. In conclusion, VRChat as a social game is a great way to interact with others for anyone that want to further enhance or develop their social skills and feel welcomed by others who share similar difficulties. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn new languages, hang out in a generally safe space, and share interests with others alike. In my opinion, if the developers of the game listen to their player base, the platform would be on a great path of success, improving the player's safety and overall experience. We can only hope that our voices can be heard by the higher-ups, because the current state of the game makes it difficult to recommend the game to anyone who is interested in diving into it. For VRChat to thrive as a truly inclusive social space, prioritizing age verification is essential, not just for growth, but for the safety of its diverse community. Just as platforms like Roblox have implemented secure age verification without issues, VRChat could work with a trusted provider to ensure user data remains safe. Thank you all for watching, and if you like the content, please let me know by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Your concerns are just as important as mine, and the developers would be more than happy to hear them if they got the chance to see this video. Thank you very much. Have a good day.